All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, double honors to the Apostle Elder Greatness Stone that taught me this 100% truth of the well. Citations to the Akim out there pushing the truth in all sincerity. The mercy is alive to do so. Citations to the hopeful elect that are scattered on the four corners of the earth that believe in the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom. All right, so this is an article from the Seattle Times. It's dated for May 5th, 2024. Today's May 9th, 2024, so like 4 days ago. And it's dealing with inflation. So, the title of the article is With Inflation This High, Nobody Knows What a Dollar is Worth. So, the American dollar is losing its value, its worth. Showing you that, we're at the end of this kingdom. And, this is the beginning of his, the end of his economic downfall. So, what are you doing? Written by Jeff Summers, New York Times. It reads, rising prices have made people grumpy. They have depressed consumer confidence despite a growing economic and low unemployment. It's like despite a growing economy and low unemployment. But exactly how inflation is hurting, helping, and confusing people is hard to understand. Everyone knows that the cost of living has increased, yet unless you're constantly pulling out a calculator, you're unlikely to know whether your wages are keeping up with inflation, whether the stock market has actually hit a real peak, or whether a lottery jackpot is as sweet as the markets claim. There's a fancy name for the common human failure to see past the gaudy prices largely created by inflation. This widespread inability to recognize what money is really worth is known as money illusion. Yeah, this this place is like being in the Matrix because that's the deception of this devil, and that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? He puts an illusion, or he brings you a false reality. Even with his electoral system. You know what I'm saying? They already got in place. You know, those are the elites, the powers that be. They already know who they want to put in office, but they manipulate and make you and deceive you to believe that they have an electoral system where you have the right to vote for who you want, and your vote counts in putting whoever you want in office. But that's not so. You know what I'm saying? It's already decided by the powers that be, the elites, because these people that's in these positions politically, they're set up by the elites, and they're just puppets. You know what I'm saying? And the elites are the puppet masters, so they just do what they are told. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear things like, oh, they're not going to go to digital currency or whatever it may be, or there's not going to be a mandate to be microchip or whatnot. When you see, these type of news out there, we know that's not so, because they have no power to prevent those things from happening, because first it's ordained by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and that's the end game plan for the elites. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're creating this whole inflation thing, because this is the answer to all the madness that they're creating, or the Akeo. You know what I'm saying? Is to bring in their new system, the new world order of bringing in the market of beasts. You know what I'm saying? So this whole illusion of, inflation, or them creating this, they're doing it purposely because they want to get rid of the dollar. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the game plan. Because it's going to be, it's a bigger plan behind. They have an agenda behind it. You know what I'm saying? To you bring upon their mark. But let's read on. Yale economist Irving Fisher wrote a book about it nearly a century ago. British economist John Maynard Keynes popularized the idea Behavioral economists have studied it extensively, but their insights tend to be forgotten when prices are fairly stable as they were in the United States until 3 years ago. When inflation increases annually at 2% or so, who really cares about it? You can you can function well without thinking about the slowly eroding value of your money. Although old timers notice it because even at a 2% annual inflation rate, prices double every 36 years. But now that we've been living with high inflation for a while, everyone is prone to money illusion to one extent or another. Consider that a March 2021 dollar is worth less than 85 cents today. Showing you this place is done. According to the government's consumer price index inflation calculator, when I kept that number in my head, the dollars in my bank account look especially unimpressive. And I've been working full time since the summer of 1977. The calculator says that every dollar I earned in my first job is worth only 19 cents in 2024 money. Yikes. So from 1977 to 2024, you know what I'm saying? The value of his money from then is only worth 19 cents. And today, uh, that's a great increase of inflation. Um, so that's a what? That's what 47 years ago. And 19 that's 100 that's 81% increase. You know what I'm saying? So this place, the value of the dollar is decreasing. Is not holding its weight. This place is this economy is, like you said, eroding, or it's it's coming to its demise. Because with inflation is going to bring great grief among society. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going to get fed up with what's going on, and they're going to react negatively to the influx of the cost of things for survival. You know what I'm saying? And being that they're not getting paid anymore, or if they do raise the cost of you know um, pay, it's just going to balance out because they're going to continue to increase with inflation. So you you're still going to be behind the ball. You know what I'm saying? If you get a raise, because they're just going to raise prices of everything else, so you're going to still be behind. You know what I'm saying? Reading on. Of course, everyone knows by now that the purchasing power of the dollar has dropped. Yeah, because this is something that they're purposely doing to get rid of the current money system. When the price of products you see every day has gone up, a gallon of gasoline, a loaf of bread, a cup of coffee, prices have risen. Even so, it's easy to slip back into thinking a dollar is simply worth a dollar and that it always has been. That's not the case. Certain stocks and the lottery, certain aspects of inflation toll on the markets are extensively chronicled, yet I think the profound effects of inflation on the stocks and bonds are widely underestimated. First, a few things about inflation's costs are clear because the Federal Reserve has been fighting inflation. Short-term rates are high. Several consecutive months of bad inflation readings have made it unlikely that the Fed will cut rates soon, and the bond market, which responds to the Fed's signals and to trades judgments about inflation and economic growth, yields have surged. As a result of all this, a range of consumer credit rates steepened the this including mortgages, credit cards, and personal loans. In addition, the dawning realization this month that the Fed is in no rush to lower interest rates stalled the stock market. They're not lowering anything because the Fed, the Reserve, is the one that's going to bring this forth because they're the one who's going to control in control of the banking system. So they want to go into this central bank digital currency to, get rid of the dollar anyway. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the answer to, dealing with the situation. You know what I'm saying? This devil, he created the situation, and he's going to be there to have the answer of, all right, we're going to correct the system by pushing the reset button and go into this digital currency. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the answer for, correcting this, this madness of inflation that he's brought upon. But this showing you that, again, you know what I'm saying, that this is also how the economical or the economic system of Rome fell. You know what I'm saying? It dealt with their finances as well. So this shows you that these are those same people here again. This is the revival of the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? And they do things the same. There's no difference in how they ran Rome until how they run this revived Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? This is those same people that are ruled in their reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? Reading on, I wrote about a less well-known aspect of inflation recently: the frequent exuberant references to new peaks in the S&P 500 during the recent bull rally didn't take rising consumer prices into account. They used what economics call nominal prices, not real ones. On an inflation adjusted basis, the stock market only in March approached a new peak for the first time in years. I relied on an analysis by Robert Shiller, a Yale economist who has long used inflation adjusted data to pierce the veil of money illusion. Because the setbacks in the past few weeks, high inflation and faltering stock market, the market has fallen below peak levels in real terms. Using nominal returns in a inflationary era can lead you to the erroneous conclusion that the market is generating phenomenal returns. Slakia. Here's another product of money illusion, one that states governments are exploiting relentless lottery jackpots. As I wrote in March, a spate of recent huge jackpots has been artificially pumped by unquestionable marketing practice, high interest rates, and inflation. When used by skilled marketers, money illusion can make unwary humans so excited that they will pour hard-earned money into chimeras like lotteries and fraudy stock markets. Unhappy workers. The old refrain that the rent is too high is resonating now. Steeping housing costs are embedded in government index and account for a sustainable part of recent official inflation increases. Wages And it's like wages are another nagging problem. Numerous surveys show that many working people believe that their wages haven't kept up with the cost of living. Whether they actually have kept up is debatable. The official data in average wages is viol- violated and difficult to interpret. Yeah, just like I was saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? And it was presented here in the article that they may increase your wages, but with that, in order to compensate or for these powers that be to get their money back, they got to raise prices. You know what I'm saying? So you're still behind the ball. You're not got to play catch up. You're not catching up. You know what I'm saying? It's not benefiting for you to get the raise to get more money, because as you get more money, you know what I'm saying, the cost of everything goes up as well. You know what I'm saying? Because so you give you that illusion like, oh, I'm making more money, but why I'm not making it? You know what I'm saying? That's why you see these people, they say, oh, I make this amount of money, but I can barely make it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have that illusion of you making this type of money, but at the same time you're struggling daily to survive because they inflated everything. You know what I'm saying? So you're still behind the ball regardless if they give you the money or not, because they're just gonna continue to raise prices. Meticulous research by economist David Autor, Annie McGrew, and I don't even know how to say this dude's name. Eric and Arajan Rajit. I guess that's Arajit Dubey. I'm sure I didn't get that right. Shows that for lower income people, real wages have risen, rising nearly 40% of the long-standing wage gap between richer and poor workers in the United States. Even so, because inflation is essentials. Even so, because inflation in essentials like food, housing, and transportation stresses lower income people more acutely than the rich, it's not clear that those wage increases are well appreciated. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you're still behind the ball. No matter if they, gave you a few dollars raises, you know what I'm saying? The cost of, you know, the four things, for survival is going up. So it's not beneficial for the regular, for the average or whatnot. But, in fact, researchers by Stephanie Stencheva, a scholar at Harvard and at the Brookings Institute, building on earlier work by Schiller, finds that it is not. Yeah, people tend to blame the government for the pain of inflation and to give themselves credit for raises they have received, even while feeling angry that those raises don't seem to be keeping up with the cost of living, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? But this is all part of this devil's plan. That a core issues with the inflation is high. Money Illusion, a classic 1997 paper by economists Elder Shaffer and Peter Diamond, a psychologist Amos Tversky, found that in periods of high inflation, employers can get away with giving workers raises that amount to sustainable wage cuts on an inflation-adjusted basis. Say inflation is rising at a 4% annual rate, and you get a 2% raise, you've just received a real wage cut. If there's no inflation and your wages cut by 1%, you've also gotten a wage cut, but you've lost less money than in the case of high inflation. Which what's odd is the workers tend to view the bigger real wage cuts as fairer. This makes sense, the author says, when you factor in money illusion. Where we are now. At the moment, consumer sentiment surveys are 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 skewing lower. They have in periods that were similar in economic growth and employment. Nellie Mahoney and Ryan Cummings, economists at Stanford, think inflation and lingering dissatisfaction with price levels may well be the cause. Looking back at past periods of high inflation, they have done some rough calculations that show that negative efforts of inflation on consumer sentiment erode 50% each year. In other words, they have a half-life of about 1 year. Mahoney updated the research at my request. In the 3 years through March, price rose 17.9% according to Mahoney's model. And crucially, assuming the rate of inflation drops immediately to the Fed's forecast of 2.5% annually, there would be an 8% point increase in consumer sentiment by November. There happens to be a national election then. Mahoney and Cummings both served in the Biden administration. If they are right, and if inflation really drops quickly and stays low, the improvement in the natural mood could tilt the outcome of the election. But if inflation has defied economists' prediction of efforts over the past few years, I make no assumptions. Certainly, I hope inflation will fall and it will be safe to live an ordinary life without thinking about money illusion, but it will take a long while for me to unsee the shrinking dollar. And that's pretty much the end of the article. There you go. So the American dollar is on the way out. And that's the game plan of this devil, you know what I'm saying? But it's been appointed by Yahweh Shemashai to be so, because he got to usher in the RFID chip mark of the beast, and that's going to be the answer to dealing with this situation, to correct, you know what I'm saying, the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to push the reset button and say this is the new form of finance that we're just going to get away from, to correct the collapse of the dollar. We got to reset and go to a new financial system, and that's what he's going to, bring upon his MOTV, his mark of the beast, RFID microchip. You know what I'm saying? And this contributes to it, because that's his fix. That's going to be his answer. And this is Revelations 6:5, which reads, and we had, and when he opened the third seal, I heard a third beast come and say, come and see, and I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he sat on him. On him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Yeah, and this is bringing in famine, and showing you that it's going to be the help. This inflation is going to contribute to that too, because many of our people, they're going to die by famine and some by the sword, as the scriptures say. But things are going to start to be costly, in these times. You know what I'm saying? And when you go into the penny, let's see. This is
Strong's G 1220. Denarion.
Denarion. All right, so let's see. Strong's info. Denarion, Latin origin, a denarius or 10 asses, penny, pence, penny worth. So 10 asses were worth what they call a penny. And I think what the denarius is what the Roman coin was. Let's see. I know it's a denarius, counting 10. So I guess worth, that's what I said, I guess, a denarius, a day's wage was worth 10 asses. So this, a Roman silver coin in New Testament time, it took its name from it being equal to 10 asses. So the denarius is worth 10 asses, 10. Denarius, I guess, is 10. A number after 217 BC increased to 16, about 3.898 grams or 13.75 ounces. It was principal silver coin for the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it was seen that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. Yeah, so it's coming to the times that it's going to cost you a day's wages to purchase bread and water. You know what I'm saying? To have the essentials of, to survive in a society. You know what I'm saying? But it's all, all part of end time prophecy. That, this is, that this is coming into play. This is or authorized and ordained by Yahweh Shema Shai. In these last days, this is end time prophecy. So, as the scripture shows, it's going to cost you a day's wages. You know what I'm saying? To have the essentials that you need for survival. And that article, shows it. You know what I'm saying? That inflation is here and it's not going nowhere. It's not going to decline because this is the point in time that the Lord has chose for these things to come into fold, because we're at the end of Esau Edom's kingdom. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is about to take this devil out, and like I said, the answer to this and this fix for inflation is going to be doing away with this whole the American dollar, because the dollar's on the decline. It's not holding its value any longer. As you read in the article, as you can see, you know what I'm saying, it's on its way out. You know what I'm saying? And these countries, they're coming against it, and they want to get rid of the dollar anyway. But the whole world is going to go into the digital system. You know what I'm saying? The CBDC, central bank digital currency, because we all going to have, the whole world's going to have to face the hour of temptation. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord is bringing upon the world. And that's where we at now. We're at the end of this thing. And this is, coming into it's like into intuition, if I'm saying that right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is the point in time that the Lord has chosen for this to take place, and the Lord's going to bring great judgment during this time. We rolling upon the times of Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? The mark of the beast, World War III, man, we almost out of here. We're at the end. So you just got to give all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai when you see these things. You know what I'm saying? Because this, was He has ordained to take place in these end days. To bring down this devil in any seed of nations and bring up, the nation of Israel. Because as the scriptures say, Esau Edom is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followeth, and that's what we, coming into. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. I hope that the article was edifying. The lesson was edifying. I just want to say, Kohola Yahweh Shema Shai, Kwam Meshawala, Abba Babor, Shalom.